Introducing another boring video about the government of Nigeria and Mexico by Ali, Sarah, Jess, and Amanda. Stay tuned! Nigeria's government functions through a presidential system. A presidential system is a system of government where a head of government is also head of state and leads an executive branch that is separate from the legislative branch. The United States, for instance, has a presidential system. It is also a federal republic, which is a federation of states with the republican form of central government. It differs from a unitary state in that a federal republic, the authorities of the state governments cannot be taken back by the central government. Muhammadu Buhari, the current president of Nigeria, has been in office since 2015. He is a retired Nigerian Army Major General and was head of state of Nigeria from December 31, 1983 to August 27, 1985, after taking power in a military coup d'etat. He unsuccessfully ran for office of president in the 2003, 2007, and 2011 general elections. In December 2014, he emerged as the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress for the March 25 general elections. Buhari won the election, defeating the incumbent President Goodluck Jonathan. This marked the first time in the history of Nigeria that an incumbent president lost to an opposition candidate in a general election. Citizens can participate in the vote if they have reached the age of 18 and are a resident. They must also work in or originate from the local government area or ward covered by the registration center. The voter must present himself or herself to the registration officers of the Commission for registration as a voter within the period stipulated for the exercise and must not be subject to any legal incapacity to vote under any laws, rules, or regulation in the force in Nigeria. Due to the nature of government in the country, it is profoundly absent in the lives of a majority of millions of Nigerians. Nigeria's current constitution, the fourth since independence, went into effect on May 29, 1999. Modeled after the U.S. Constitution, it provides for separation of powers among a strong executive, an elected legislature, and an independent judiciary. Critics of the Constitution complain that the federal government retains too much power at the expense of the states. Although the Constitution proclaims personal freedom and a secular state, it also permits Muslims to follow Sharia or Islamic law. Mexico has a similar type and style of government to Nigeria in that both countries have a presidential system and a federal republic. The presidency is the paramount institution not only of the Mexican state, but of the entire Mexican political system. Critics have labeled the presidency the six-year monarchy because of the seemingly unchecked power that historically has resided in the office. Much of the aura of presidential power derives from the president's direct and unchallenged control over both the state apparatus and the ruling political party. The current leader is Enrique Peña Nieto, 57th President of Mexico. His sixth term began in 2012. A member of the Institutional Revolutionary Party, or the PRI, he served as governor of the state of Mexico from 2005 to 2011. Peña Nieto was declared president-elect after the 2012 general election and was declared valid by the Federal Electoral Tribunal amidst accusations of electoral fraud. He took office on December 1, 2012, succeeding Felipe Calderón. Peña Nieto announced his presidential candidacy in September 2011, 4 days after leaving office as governor. He formally registered in November 2011. Peña Nieto garnered a plurality of 39% of the vote and does not hold a legislative majority. Presidents are directly elected by a simple majority of registered voters in the 31 states and the federal district. The president holds the formal titles of Chief of State, Head of Government, and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. Presidential candidates must be at least 35 years old on Election Day and must be not only Mexican citizens by birth, but also the offspring of Mexican citizens by birth. This clause was amended in 1994 to make the children of naturalized citizens eligible for the presidency, effective in 1999. To be eligible for the presidency, a candidate must reside legally in Mexico during the year preceding the election. Presidents have historically played a decisive role in the selection and removal of state governors, all whom, until 1991, were members of the PRI. Any citizen of age 18 or greater must go to an electoral office in order to be registered into the electoral census. Citizens receive a voting card, issued by the National Electoral Institute, or the INE, that must be shown to vote in any election. The voting card also serves as a national identity document. A widely held middle-class critique of Mexico's governing institutions is that politicians are accountable only to the private elites and do not respond to middle and lower-class needs. With a history of oligarchic-type rule and pervasive government corruption, private sector elites have consistently been major players in Mexican politics. As the rich corporations and political elite continue to prosper and the income inequality in the country remains the same, middle and lower-class Mexicans have grown increasingly unhappy with the way in which democracy is currently functioning in their country.